I think we'll go ahead and get started. I'll keep letting people in as it goes on. My name is Brooke Hudson, and I'm the producer of Omaha Fashion Week. And I'm very excited to see all of you here on Zoom. And my apologies that we had to make such a quick last minute change. The weather we weren't sure was going to cooperate, and we wanted to make sure we did this outside. And so here we are on Zoom instead. So thanks to everybody for being flexible. Tonight we're going to hear from Buff, who's going to be running through some important things. Buff is our director, or VP, I should say, of community outreach. So she's going to be talking about some model and designer housekeeping issues. She'll talk a little bit about our backstage culture and just the fact that being backstage, it requires a lot of teamwork. And then she'll go through the COVID safety measures. Plus, we have a new room layout due to COVID. And then from there, we'll turn to Alyssa, and she's going to give you some overall pointers on walking, and then she's going to work with you individually. And I think just you listening in as she talks to each person individually about their walk is going to be very instructive to everybody. So make sure you stick around for that. And then at the very end, for like the last 10 minutes, we'll do a Q&A. And at that time, you can use the chat function on Zoom to ask any questions you have about anything at that time. So we'll make sure we get all those answered before we have to move on to the next group. So with that, thank you guys so much for your attention tonight and for being so flexible. I'm going to turn it over to Buff. Thanks. Buff needs to be unmuted.
Thanks. Hi, everybody. Thank you guys so much for being flexible and being here today. Everybody really appreciates you guys just hopping in and doing this last minute. And somehow it seems very convenient to me. So I'm glad you're all here. So first thing I want to start off with is Omaha Fashion Week is very much a community. We all work together to try and make everybody feel comfortable and happy, and we have a safe space in our backstage. We try to make sure that there is no hate speech, no creepers, anything like that. So if anybody has anything where you're feeling uncomfortable, you heard something that makes you feel uncomfortable, you have to say something. Otherwise, we don't know that it happened. So if you see something, if you hear something, say something. Find me, find anybody else on our team, find Alyssa, find an OFW person and talk to us about it. We are always willing to step in and help whenever we can. Next, I will talk about like when we're backstage. Obviously, it's a different sort of setup this year. We have a whole different area now where backstage is going to be, and so we will be practicing all of our social distancing and really working hard to keep everybody safe and healthy. Masks are going to be mandatory, and I know that there are some people who say, oh, I have a health issue. That's fine, but while you're on site in the building, you have to wear your mask. If you need to take a break and step outside, you can, and you just have to go through the whole process of coming back in again and doing all the antibacterial things and screening and everything again. So just so you all know, we want to make sure that everybody is being safe first and foremost. Then, and I lost my message. I'm sorry. 2 shakes. Okay. So we have a lot of people who are working very hard. Well, we don't have a lot of people. We have very few people on our team who work really hard to make all of this happen. And then we have a lot of volunteers that come and help us to try and make everything happen. So we are always working at 100% full speed ahead. We want to make sure everybody is, getting everything that they need to have taken care of. But if we're not responding immediately, just bear with us. We want to all make sure that, everything is getting done in the order that we see as the most important. So if it might take an extra day or something, that's why. So please just work with us. You know, I know you guys are great. Boop. Yeah, our backstage, if you've been to Fashion Week before, our backstage will now be the entire area where the VIP and all of retail was. We're using all of that space as our backstage. So we have a lot more room to work with. We'll be able to spread out a whole lot more so everybody is, you know, practicing their distancing appropriately. And with that comes a different entrance for our backstage, which will be at the front of the building, near where all of the regular attendees come in through the front. We are going to have a different door. It's kind of off to the side. There's like a little angled door. It's called the Downtown Club. We're going to use those doors as our entry point for all of the models, designers, and stylists. So you'll want to keep that in mind. I'll be sending out a map of exactly where all of that is as soon as I can. I wanted to have it done by this point, but I didn't get it all done, so I apologize. I did, however, send you guys maps of the runway, and there's 2 different kinds of walks, so you guys should have those pictures. I sent it in the email and I sent it to your phones. Hopefully you all got it. So you guys can all take a look and make sure you know what the layout's going to be. We are not going to have snacks backstage. We know that that is an issue, so we want you guys to all plan accordingly. Bring your own snacks. We don't want to have any cross-contamination, anything like that happening. So bring your water bottles, bring your own fruit snacks or granola bars like we would normally provide, or things like that. Have those on hand, put some in your bags that you bring with you. Make sure that your devices are all charged, everything like that. Hair and makeup, we've discussed how that is going to happen at length with all sorts of different people. And right now, what it is coming down to is that it will be the designer and the hairstylist team that they're working with all of their models in the collection to decide what can be done ahead of time that is easy for the models to accomplish without it, them being uncomfortable with the way they look or anything like that. Or, if they feel like they can't achieve that look, if you guys are like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to do this crazy eye makeup, that's fine. We don't want you to try it. We want you to take a step back, say, you know what, I know I can't do this. I'm gonna let the pros take care of it when I get there. So if you're on the fence about whether or not you can achieve something, just don't worry about it. The stylist will take care of it. They will be doing some presentations on how to do specific things, like maybe put in some curls, maybe put on your foundation the appropriate way, and probably do a whole tutorial on what the full look will look like. But again, if you feel like you can't do it, we don't want to pressure you guys into that so that you end up feeling like your look is not as complete as it could be. So then okay.
Hey, Beth.
Yes.
Beth. So you're going to be sending out some information, or maybe you already have, about the hair and makeup. We're going to be doing some like teaching sessions for models coming up next week and the beginning of August. Have you sent any information about that yet?
They all have the dates. Everybody knows the dates already, and those should all be on their calendars, hopefully. There's more information on the backstage page. If you guys go there, omahafashionweek.com/backstage, there's more information. There's all of this stuff that you'll be able to see on. Alyssa just made a comment on the 30th is the initial tutorial on some real basic things that we would really like everybody to be at and attend that. Just watch it just like this. You don't have to do a whole lot of participation. It is more about learning technique and getting some basics down. And then after that, we'll have some more in-depth things that are specific to each collection on the 8th and the 9th. And you can look at the details for that at the Backstage page. Did I answer anything? Did I miss anything, Brooke? That was it, right?
Nope, that was good. Thanks.
Okay. And to the oh no, I was muted for a second. Sorry. To add on to the makeup things, if you have your own brushes, if you have your own like foundation and things like that, bring those things so that you have your own brushes. There's no cross-contamination, anything like that. So you'll be able to work with your own things. We do have makeup kits at Fashion Week, but there is a whole process of cleaning brushes between everything so that nothing is contaminated. So we need to make sure that that is being followed very closely, because we don't want to have anybody spreading anything there.
Yeah, those makeup sessions and the hair sessions that we're doing, I mean, part of it is obviously to help what happens backstage go quicker, and it will limit your interaction with lots of people in close proximity to you. But it also is, it helps cut down on that cross-contamination piece. So the more you as models can pick up from that and put into practice before you get to the venue, just the safer you're going to be, and the safer you'll be able to keep everyone around you.
Yes. So it's important to kind of pay attention to all of those little details just for your own safety. And, you know, everybody else's as well. You guys should care about each other and making sure we all stay healthy together. So I care about you guys. I don't want you guys to get sick. Please don't. I think that is everything that I had. If you guys have questions for me, you can post them in the chat at the end, so that, you know, if you're having issues with your design or whatever it is, just wait till the end and we'll address everything then.
Could we talk about the walking pattern? I can put that up on the screen.
Oh, if you want, sure.
Okay. Hang on a second, guys. I'm going to put something up. There you go. Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay. Do you want me to go through it? Are you going to go through it?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. All right. So this is the main ballroom, and can you guys see my cursor at the top?
Yep.
Okay. So this is where the models are going to be entering. This is where it's always been in the past. So if you've been in the show before, you can think back to where you've entered the runway in the past, and that's the exact same spot. This is on the east side of the building. Over here is where the bar and the main entrance is. And then over here is kind of where your backstage lineup hallway is. So you're entering here, and you're going to walk down this way. And when in doubt, when you come to a junction like this, you're always going to turn right. So you'll turn right, and then you'll turn around, and then you'll go right again. And then you're going to go right here. And so you're just literally following the entire length of the runway and always turning to your right. Just like that. And then you'll exit the same way you came in, and that's it. So it's a big runway, and we'll be putting a lot of models out there kind of at the same time. But it's important for you to know that when in doubt and you're at a junction, you turn right. And the other thing I would say is that we're going to be filming this for a live stream. And so part of this runway is actually going to be filmed for TV. And so if you think about, like, this area here is where the cameras are going to be focused. So you're going to have two different walking patterns you'll do. One is what we would call for the audience. And again, that's going to be where you're walking the entire length of the runway and you're always turning right. And then you've got another one that is just for the cameras. And that is going to be walking all the way down the runway to the second junction and then turning around and coming back. So it's important to kind of know the difference between those two walking patterns. Basically, every model is going to be on the runway 3 times during the show. You'll be on there individually when you show your look the first time. And on that one, you're going to be walking for the audience, which is walking the entire room, just like this. The second time you go on the runway, it's going to be in your collection model march with your designer. And you're going to be walking for the cameras for this one. So you'll walk down to the second junction and you'll turn around and walk back. And we'll have a piece of tape or something on the floor so you'll know exactly where you should be turning at that point. And then the third time you're on the runway, it's going to be with your entire segment. It's kind of like when we do the model march at the first half of the show. So you'll be with probably 3 different collections, and you're going to do a segment model march. And that one, again, is going to be for the audience. So all of you are going to be walking the entire length of the runway. So just remember, you're walking for the audience and you're walking for the cameras. When you walk for the audience, you're walking the entire runway and you're always turning right. When you're walking for the cameras, you're going to walk straight down to the second junction and then turn around and come back. Okay? All right.
Or they're just doing their U-shaped turns everywhere?
I'm sorry, I missed that, Alyssa?
Are they posing anywhere, or are they just continuously walking?
They're just continuously walking. I mean, do you think that's the easiest thing to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
even for the cameras for your collections, because you're going to be going in a model march,
Yeah.
you wouldn't have a difference there.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I think people will.
Yeah, and it'll slow down if we have too much posing going on. So, okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, I think your timing would be okay.
Great.
Cool. Does everyone get that? Okay.